Good afternoon. It is still Thursday, May 21st. I'm headed home from work. Today, I got a message from a teammate, Jennifer Milliken, whom I coach, and then it was announced on USA Powerlifting social media. You started seeing lifters post about it, that USA Powerlifting will not be sending a national team to Classic Raw Worlds, Bench Worlds, and Masters Worlds. And I had passed on my spot for Masters Worlds, but I had a team lifter, Jody Rice, and Elliot was going to Classic Raw Worlds, and of course, so was Shorty. It is very disappointing. I got a message right away from someone on the team if I was okay, and I mean I'm fine. I'm very disappointed for the lifters, not only that are from our team, but you know I completely get how disappointing and frustrating it is. There's a few that I know that are on the national team that this was going to be their first world championship. And, you know, it's just one of those things where you never know, when you will get another chance in the best of circumstances, let alone in a time like this or whatever normal is going to be going forward. So I was thinking, after having a brief discussion with some of the team about it, and then with Jennifer as well, and thought, what are some positives that can come from this? And there's nothing magical I'm going to say where you're going to go, oh, well, that makes it fine. It makes it all better. But there have been some very unprecedented challenges, and just for people to train, I know with Jennifer, when they had the stay-at-home order, she lives in the next county over from me, and they had a stay-at-home order, and so we outfitted her, fortunate enough. I had a power rack that I had bought for the addition, and it was a short one, so we put it in her house. I had an adjustable bench, plenty of plates, and a bar, and she was able to at least train, but she had to train by herself, and the schedule changed and atmosphere changed, and I think it's tough. It's tough when there's no immediate feedback, and that's a great dynamic for Jennifer and I. It's good for both of us. I am better, when everybody is in the gym, and people are striving and working towards something. And, it's well documented, the journey that she and I have been on, her as an athlete and me as a coach, and all that we've learned from one another. And I would dare say that I've learned equally as much from her in the experience, as she has from me. So there's a lot of things to take away from that. What did you learn during quarantine? What did you learn when you got to train again? What did you do to just stay fit? Was there something that you did that you go, hey, this is something I should carry over? There are some things to look back on, and in a few years, what there will hopefully be some big takeaway. So the reason why I'm saying all this is that I want to challenge everybody, to go, hey, this is what I did. I worked so hard. I made the national team. Let me break it down, and these are the things that I did. What is the takeaway from your quarantine time? Were you able to train? If you weren't able to go to a gym, or you didn't have something at home, what did you do? And what are all the takeaways from that? And I think it's okay to talk about the frustrations and disappointments. There's going to be people that are going to hate on it, like, oh, you're being selfish. No, I trained my ass off. I understand week after week and month after month of training, and I don't see it so much as a sacrifice. You made a decision. You made an active decision. But when you work that hard, like, for instance, they rescheduled the Olympics, so imagine being that athlete that has been training for the last who knows how long. They make the national team, and you're coming up on the biggest moment of your athletic career, and it's like, psych, maybe next year. And so, there's a lot of unprecedented events going on, and I think by and large nobody knows what the real answer is as far as, the virus and everything else goes. You see places opening up and there's so much misinformation. So what I'm trying to ask of the national teams and the athletes, what are some takeaways? What are some positives? What are some things that, even though and discuss your frustration, discuss your disappointment, and what do you do? How do you regroup? Because for a little bit, it looked like the Worlds was going to happen in October for the Raw folks and the Classic Raw, and boom, 2 weeks later, you were back at Nationals. So that was going to be quite a challenge. And I honestly, and I mentioned this early on, when I saw how the schedule was, it threw up a flag with me. I figured at that point, sending a team was in the balance. So, how do you strategize? How do you find, a positive spin that keeps you committed to your training? And one of the things, and Jennifer and I touched on this briefly in the last week or so, like she goes, well, what if it's canceled? I guess we just train, don't we? And I think that's ultimately the attitude. If this is something you do because you love it, I understand how important the international meets are. I get it. I waited my entire career to go to IPF Worlds last year. Trust me, I get it. But when you start thinking about the basics, the very fundamental reason why you started lifting and you started competing, like when I've seen a lot of lifters that during this quarantine time and and all the the last 3 months have posted videos of like their first meet and stuff like that. And I'd be interested to know, what was your inspiration? What was your motivation? What made you commit to trying to become the best that you could? And how did that turn into trying to be the best, period? And I think that there's a lot of things that can be positive from that. I think it can inspire a lot of up-and-coming lifters, and be great going into nationals, because now it extends your training cycle now 2 weeks. I mean, this has been going on for a lot of us. We were supposed to be in, I guess it was Belarus sometime next month, so a lot of changes, and I think a lot of some of us are like me. I'll be losing a job, and I can resist it. I can be sad, and I can be angry and anxious, and I'm all those things, I assure you. And there's a lot of things where I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. And but the best I can do is do everything I can in the interim, and be as prepared as I can be, and then embrace what change comes, and well, that's scary, but you guys are resilient, and I'll tell you why I know you're resilient, because I know many of you on the national team in some form or another, and I know that you have faced disappointment. I know that you have faced failure. I know that you have faced injury and those types of things, and you kept digging, and you kept grinding, and you developed the ability to be resilient. And all of us, myself included, I want to hear those stories. I want to hear what you have to say, because I look for those things, and it inspires me. The lifters in the gym, all of them, the dig in factor. I've got lifters that we have world champions, and we got people that they try to compete locally when they can and be their very best. And I want to hear all that, and I think that those are the things, when I see lifters that no matter what level of ability they have, that when they're committed strongly to being their best, that's what brings me joy. One of the many things that brings me joy as a coach. So I think a lot of you on the national team, and the alternates as well. I think you have a voice. I've encouraged Jennifer to talk about it, and I hope she will. And I hope you feel, especially me, or our people. If there's frustration, let's hear it. Let's get through it. And this goes into the video log I did this morning. It's like, man, we are charged with taking care of each other. And again, this is a very unprecedented thing, and it's just going to take us all to get through it, and I think it's going to leave a mark on us all to some degree, and we're going to have to make a choice, on how that's going to continue to affect us, myself included. And I will tell you, man, I'd love to tell you that I've been this fearless leader, that I've been the oak tree in the windstorm, and that I would be lying to you if I said that's what I was. I've been, I've said it many times, all over the map. And it's my teammates that, they'll bring an extra case of water, or they'll check on me, or they'll do something, I'll go upstairs after everybody's left, and there's a bundt cake, a little baby bundt cake, or a dozen wings, or, something. And, these guys are really trying to take care of us in the gym. So, I will not deny being really sad, because these meets, when I get to go to them with the lifters, I get to see great people that normally otherwise I don't get to see. And I've gotten messages, we've exchanged messages, and it's just one of those things where, today I was telling somebody, this time last year I was in Japan, at Bench Worlds, and I saw a post from David Doan. He was retiring after that meet, and just to tell you again why I am pressing and imploring you guys on the world team, this doesn't last for forever. I've had this crazy long career, and I think David would tell you the same thing, but it's like all of a sudden, it changes, you age out of it, so to speak. And I remember vividly, I was having a discussion. We had competed, David and I had competed. There were several of us, and we were all drinking beers and having a great time. And Darcy was there, and I was asking about Devon. The last time I saw Devon, she was a kid. And I was like, how's she, I was thinking she was in college. Of course, I forget that this has been 20 plus years ago. And, Devon is like married and got kids. And you're like, how in the hell does that happen? But it just goes to show you, sometimes the days are really, really long. They grind by. And then, you turn around. And it's honestly, it's so hard to believe that Open Nationals and Bench Worlds were this time last year. I got back from Chicago and had about a week before I was on an airplane to Japan. And so it's quick. So I don't want you guys to get, later into your careers and go, wow, it's already, here I am. If you have something to say, share it, and hopefully we will find things to glean from that and be inspired. I know this is super long-winded, and I appreciate your indulgence. Love to all the Team USA folks. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and most stay committed, and all of us take care of each other.